gigantic test of automotive perfection. In the history of the event.
David Lancaster, Mooresville Dragway, Mooresville, North Carolina. Talk about a racetrack with history. This is it, and I can tell you the history is coming true today because this rascal has got teeth. These cars are hooking.
They are hooking real well. The drivers are raving about the racetrack, and it is so great to see the fan support that we have out here today with these race cars that are performing so well.
Talk about excitement, that match race between Kenneth Phillips and Alan Gold. And Alan obviously coming out finally the victor on that. You know, the money aside, the racing was first notch. And then Donovan Stott, you know, my son, he's made a trip back. Obviously, I'm happy to see that. And he's driving for another good friend of mine, a brother of ours in Christ, Sonny Burr. And hey, who knows what may come of that?
Yeah, you saw that Avenger make a couple of passes, and you'll see it today. I mean, you know, deadly on the tree as Donovan always is. But I got to go back to that comment about that match race. Holy cow. 1-1 each, the best of three, and doggone if they didn't almost even off the line, and the frequent flyer pulls the wheels up 15 inches in second gear. Third gear, he's another foot in the air, and it just prevailed at the end by the narrowest of margins. What a race that was. And we've seen those cars go down the track so many times, but that race was just one for the ages. It tops every one I've seen before.
I fully agree with that. I went by there, and I was joking with Alan. I said, is that all this thing's got? And I said, oh, and by the way, that third gear wheelie was impressive, because it was.
It is, and this Mooresville Raceway is equally impressive. As we already talked about, Donnie Gibbs and his crew here just do an outstanding job, and we're just blessed with the history this racetrack has. We're right here in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. We couldn't be more excited to bring you this event.
And got some great people here. The local Napa, NAPA as old timers call it, local Napa store out here promoting this thing, advertising with us, partnering with us, as well as Don Lowry from Summit. He's here. Summit Racing increasing their involvement with the Southeast Gassers. I'm going to tell you the old cliche, the future's so bright we got to wear shades.
It really is, and I had the chance to do a couple of interviews with them in the tower a little bit earlier. They're just wonderful men. Brian Bailey from Napa is so excited to be here, and we're excited to have both of these guys. And Summit's involvement coming on as a series sponsor has just been outstanding. And folks, you hear cars coming behind us. They're getting in the lanes. We're getting ready to get this one started. What do you say, Mitch?
I say Mooresville is ready. I'm ready. You ready? Ain't nothing holding us back. Let's let her go.
Very much.
Before we start round one, we'd like to thank our wonderful sponsors. All right, Brian Olds, the #1 qualifier here in Superstock round one, is going to take on Mark Hackett, who had some uncharacteristic problems. Mark not able to get down the racetrack very good in either qualifying session, so it put him in your dead last, having to take on Olds here in the first round by Olds out of Ripley, Tennessee, our #1 qualifier. And there you see Mark Hackett powering away to victory right there, as Mark Hackett undoubtedly got everything worked out in that Comet. And you see him pulling off from that CUDA right there, as Brian Olds unfortunately does not make round number 2 after being the #1 qualifier here today at Mooresville. Second pair down the track, Robert Peffley, the hottest man in Superstock right now, our points leader in the 4-speed Stampede, going to be taking on Dean Hall in that 1966 Galaxy out of Inman, South Carolina. And there you see that 65 Belvedere wagon that comes out of Indiana.
Dean Hall out of Inman, making his second race with us here. He made the race down in Alabama, man. He's here with us in Mooresville.
Dean Hall knows he's got his hands full here. Tries to get a little too greedy on the tree. Starts too early and turns on the red light. And that'll propel Robert Peffley in that 4-speed Stampede to the second round. Another good shot right there from our finish line camera provided by Napa Auto Parts right here today at Mooresville Dragway, showing the margin of victory for the 4-speed Stampede. Moving right along, there's Dallas Peffley in the Grumpy Bee, going to take on Bobby Frizzell out of Anderson, South Carolina in the Legacy. There's that big Legacy of Bobby Frizzell's. going to be in the right lane, and the 67 Plymouth Belvedere wagon for Dallas Peffley, the Grumpy Bee as he calls it, is going to be in the left lane. I want to thank all our fans for sticking around today through this rain. Look, the stands are really packed, and we're glad to see everybody out here enjoying Southeast Gasser action. And there's a great shot of Bobby Frizzell coming up the side of that Legacy with those Holman Moody on the front fender right there, as well as many other great Ford sponsors back in the day. Dallas Peffley in the Grumpy Bee over there just got Plymouth on the side and plenty of Plymouth horsepower underneath the hood. And there you see Bobby Frizzell, a lot of tire spin right there. And that's all that the Grumpy Bee needs. So unfortunately, Bobby Frizzell will go to the trailer here first round of Superstock and be a casualty due to a lot of tire spin down low. All right, Dale Morton out of Kernersville, North Carolina, in that 57 Ford that he calls Lucille. He's going to get a single right here in the first round of Superstock. Beautiful race car, that Lucille. Good chance for you to hear that music at full song right there coming out of that motor. Right here in round number one, first pair down in Seagas, taking on Johnny Royals, the fiddle picker out of Griffin, Georgia. There you see that Studebaker of Royals in the left lane. And the defending champ right here in Seagas, Larry Noel, in that 56 Crazy Horse out of Aiken, South Carolina. Larry Noel, the defending champ, as we said before. Good wheels up start right there for the Crazy Horse. He pulls away from Royals to take the win right here in round number one. And there you see a great still of his wife, Sandy Noel, getting him in the beams. Second pair down going to be Tim Hall, the Scalded Dog out of Abbeville, South Carolina. Going to run Dan Hogan in that flat-out car out of Georgia. Good-looking Falcon right there. The Scalded Dog out of Abbeville, South Carolina. Tim Hall with the wheels up. Listen to that thing scream through the 8th mile. So Tim Hall takes the win, and look at that launch right there for Tim Hall in that beautiful still photo from Sewell Imagery right there. Todd Oden, the Double X, the 1958 Delray, our 2017 champ, going to take on Rick Taylor. Rick making his debut here in the Southeast Gassers in the car that he calls the Maverick. There you see Gina Oden right out front of Todd, her husband, backing him up into his beams in that 58 Delray out of Birmingham, Alabama. Rick Taylor coming to us out of Arizona, making the trip all the way across country for that. Originally hails from Canada. Knew what he had to do against the Double X, and he went red early. And so Todd Oden moved right on to the next round there in that 58 Delray. Todd had the wheels up on the line. Listen to it come through the top end. Another great shot of those wheels getting up on that 58 Delray. Next pair down, the local boy Herman Gehring from right here in the Mooresville area. Going to take on Josh Pruitt, the young blood in that 63 Ford Fairlane out of Inman, South Carolina. Herman Gehring, as I said, Mooresville's a home track for him here in that second chance car. Herman continues to improve as he goes more rounds here in the Southeast Gassers. We're glad to see him making more events and being with us. He's going to be in the right lane. Josh Pruitt in the left out of Inman, South Carolina, as we said before. Gehring gets a little bit of a break on him on the line, but Josh Pruitt. Listen to that small block forward as he powers through the 8th mile marker right there, taking the win here in round number one of Seagas. Another great shot of the cars. I let you hear them. I just love to hear those top-end motors winding at the top end. Jimmy Huff out of Loganville, Georgia in the Hoopty Wagon, the 64 Ford Falcon Wagon. Going to take on somebody. We want to welcome back Ronnie Lineberger in that bow tie buzzer out of Denver, North Carolina. Hadn't seen Ronnie a lot this year as he made the first race at Shadyside. Here he is again with that 55 Chevy of his out of Denver, North Carolina. He calls it the bow tie buzzer. There's Jimmy Huff being backed up right there. Loganville, Georgia runner Huff, a motor builder and supplying a lot of power for people out here in the Southeast Gassers. That car moves over to the center line. Huff is able to grab it and gather it back in. And he takes the win right there against Ronnie Lineberger. Another shot from the tower. As you see, Jimmy Huff leads that one from start to finish. Sewell Imagery providing the great photo right there. Leslie Horn in the stud muffin, our current points leader, going to take on Jenny Moses in the Scream Machine. And there's the Scream Machine making its appearance today here at Mooresville Dragway, right alongside that 62 Nova wagon. For Leslie Horn out of Boiling Springs, South Carolina. Robbins Repairables, you see there on the side. Gene Fulton horsepower underneath the hood for the current points leader and number 2 qualifier today here at Mooresville Dragway. Jenny Moses, beautiful race car there, that 55 out of Brazelton, Georgia. She's still trying to learn the ropes right here behind the wheel as her husband Justin helps her out and helping that learning curve that she has. She gets a little bit of a break on Leslie off the line, and Leslie Horn in that stud muffin Gene Fulton horsepower powers by in the right lane. Listen to that 292 cubic inch small block scream. And Leslie Horn will move on to the next round here at Mooresville Dragway today in C-Gas. Cynthia Phillips in the Flower Power going to take on Alfred Adams out of Clover, South Carolina. There you see a good shot of Tom White right out in front of that Flower Power car, helping Cynthia in the water box. 56 Chevy right there in the right lane. 55 Chevy for Alfred Adams in the left lane. Columbus, North Carolina, where Cynthia Phillips calls home. Clover, South Carolina, where Alfred Adams hails from. There you see Pam Burrow right out front getting Cynthia Phillips in there as she moves back. Long-time helper on that Flower Power car is Pam Burrow. Quick light. And Alfred Adams is ready for that light. Looks like Cynthia was not ready. And Alfred Adams will move on as Cynthia Phillips uncharacteristically going out in the first round right here at Mooresville today. Billy Edwards, our number 1 qualifier here in C-Gas, gets a bye run by virtue of being the number 1 qualifier. There's a good look at that Thunder Road 1955 Chevy. That is for sale, folks. As good as this car's running, right up there 5 points out of the lead in our C-Gas points. Winner of the last 2 races. But Billy Edwards has said, look, my body's giving him a little bit of a problem. And Billy Edwards has that car up for sale as you see it power through the end. All right, James Beard in the Obsolete 2 out of Ripley, Tennessee, going to take on Rod Bergner, the Undertaker out of that 55 Chevy out of Texas. Here at Mooresville, this is first round of B-Gas right here. And there you see that beautiful Obsolete 2 with that orange paint job on there. Obsolete 2 definitely making some performance improvements this year in 2019 as Dan Beard and his son James tuning on that car and doing a good job driving it. Going some rounds right here, but got a tough one right here with Rod Bergner, a tough customer out of Texas. Looks like Beard gets a little bit on the whole shot, and that's what he takes to victory. And there you see the margin of victory for James Beard out of Ripley, Tennessee. And there's the margin of victory from the Napa Auto Parts finish line camera. And there you see Slowpoke Rodriguez on the side right there of the obsolete 2. Ernie Smith and Paula's Nightmare out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, going to take on Kelvin Cannon in the loose cannon out of Elizabethton, Tennessee. That beautiful loose cannon, a 33 Willis panel. Look at that smoky burnout right there for Kelvin Cannon, striking the hides on those Hoosiers, getting them good and sticky. Tall order on hand right here is Ernie Smith. Been working hard on that motor bay in that car, trying to get some more performance out of that 4-door Chevy 2. Good start by both drivers, pretty even right there. Looks like Ernie Smith pulls away and takes the victory by about a car length here in B-Gas round number 1. There you see a good shot of Ernie Smith loading them up, getting ready to go. And Michael Walters going to be part of the next pair in Papa's Wild Willis, that 41 Willis. Going to take on Daniel Haynes out of Holly Springs, South Carolina, and that beautiful Patriot in the left lane. Daniel Haynes, a big addition to B-Gas this year. He and his wife, Mary Beth. And a beautiful race car right here. Michael Walters with a whole shot advantage right there. Let's see if that's enough to drive it through to the end. What a race, folks. Man, Michael Walters pulls it out there at the end. Look at this photo finish. Just by the narrowest of victory margins does Michael Walters out of Rayford, North Carolina, take it in at Papa's Wild Willis. Jeff Madden in the misleading 2, going to take on Todd Rosenberry in the 2 bumpy. If you guys remember, Jeff Madden had a terrible accident out in Lyons, Indiana, and there you see he's in a new race car as he has purchased that race car from Steve Davis. It's the former Pawpaw Spinning car that ran in A-Gas last year, 56 Chevy, and now is in the possession of Jeff Madden. And in a week or two's time, in 2 weeks' time, Jeff Madden has got that car ready to go. And look at the whole shot advantage, wheels in the air. And Jeff Madden drives that new car to victory here in the first round of eliminations in B-Gas for him. Look at the wheels up. He buried the throttle and dropped the clutch, and there's what you have in the Southeast Gassers, a good wheels up start. Next is that Greenhorn Hillbilly of T.J. York out of Ohio, taking on Gary Smith out of Leesville, South Carolina, in the 1951 Henry J, called the Chicken Bone. Very erratic, short wheelbase on that Henry J. You'll see the wheels get up in the air very often as Gary Smith going to definitely get them up in the air and put on a show right here.
Here we go, folks.
Just as I said, look at the wheels get up in the air on that 51 Henry J. And T.J. York keeps him a little bit lower to the ground, and he digs it deep and moves on to the next round. But what a start. Look at it here again. Look how high those wheels get in the air for Gary Smith. There's a good shot of T.J. York and Elizabeth Noel backing him up, getting him ready to go there before that win. Mike Blackwell, number 2 qualifier here today, going to take on Jason Roberts in the Carolina Moon. There you see Mike Blackwell in the Smoking Sam, our number 2 qualifier, getting backed up. Those big Hoosiers, he's burning them up right there. And in the left lane is going to be Jason Roberts in the Carolina Moon. Both drivers taking their time getting in there. Big hole shot advantage right there for Mike Blackwell. And that's all he needs to take the victory here today in the first round of competition. Tim Bailey, the Alley Cat 2, going to have a competition single here as his opponent, Dean Harris, actually broke, and he's not going to be able to make it right here. So Dean Harris tried to get the Gray Ghost back in competition, but just did not cooperate after qualifying today. And Tim Bailey out of Southern Pines, North Carolina, gets a free pass right here. And being the points leader, you know he's got to be looking to put another 5 points in front of the next guy coming up, our number 1 qualifier today, Jerry Birch in the Freebird, who's chasing down Tim Bailey as hard as he can. Bailey keeps making rounds and making it awful difficult for Jerry Birch and his brother Joey to make that distance up. They've won the last 2 races here in B-Gas, trying to make it 3 in a row here today. Clicking it off just a little before the lights right there, but you heard motor at full song. A-Gas first pair down the racetrack. Donovan Stott, the 2-time world champion, is going to be behind the wheel of the Avenger, the 1937 Chevy owned by Sonny Burr. He'll be in the left lane, and he's going to take on Barry Lynn out of Greer, South Carolina, in the Little Red Wagon, the 65 Chevelle 2-door wagon. It's going to be in the right lane right there with that Scott Duggins par horsepower underneath the hood, the 477 cubic inch big block under the red hood right there of the Little Red Wagon. Barry Lynn, a roofer out of Greer, South Carolina. Donovan Stott has taken a lot of time away from the Southeast Gassers this year to work on building his new business. And what a good start right there by Donovan Stott. But too much of that Scott Duggins horsepower propels Barry Lynn to the next round and puts the comeback attempt of Donovan Stott on the trailer early as he drives that big 37 Chevy. There you see the candy cane front axle underneath the hood of that beautiful Little Red Wagon. Todd Blackwell in the slingshot, going to take on Tony Turner out of Cumming, Georgia in the quick and dirty right here, the 39 Dodge. Going to take on that 65 Nova. Campobella, South Carolina is where the B-Gas champ from last year hails from, and that would be Todd Blackwell. He has moved up this year to A-Gas and won an event already this year at US 43 Dragway. Wheels up, first, second, and third gear right there as you see Todd Blackwell ripping through the gears. And he takes the win right there over Tony Turner. Watch this again. First, second, third gear, and makes a move a little bit in fourth maybe right there as Todd Blackwell from Campobella, South Carolina, moves on to round number 2, and just too much horsepower under the hood for Tony Turner. Steve Davis in the Spinney going to take on Gabriel Burrow in the Southern Flyer. Southern Flyer, a 31 Ford Tudor, going to be in the right lane out of Columbus, North Carolina. And Monroe, North Carolina is where Steve Davis calls home with that Steve Norwood horsepower underneath the hood right there. A good shot of the Spinney 2, little Chevy 2. Gabriel Burrow being backed up right there by none other than Megan Phillips, getting him ready to go. These two guys right here both hungry for a win. And Gabriel Burrow a little too hungry as he lets the clutch out too early and turns on the red light as you see right there. And he will be eliminated right here in first round. And Steve Davis will get to move on. And that's a big break for Steve Davis, as it looked like he might have had a little trouble coming off the line right there. But nonetheless, Steve Davis gets to move on. Dean Jonas in the Agent Orange, the 66 Chevy 2, going to take on Sam Gable out of Atlanta, Georgia, in that Moonshot 1956 Chevy with the Lamar Walden horsepower underneath the hood. There's a good shot of that Agent Orange car out of Mount Holly, North Carolina. It moves hard toward the center line. Dean Jonas able to gather it in and take about a car length victory right there from the Napa finish line camera. Great slow-mo shot right there by Trent Sherrill and his crew. And there you hear those Chevys blasting down the racetrack. Fulton Race engines right there you see on the front bumper. Next pair in round 1 of A-Gas, Kenneth Phillips, number 2 qualifier in the Silver Streak 2, the 1958 Corvette. Again with Gene Fulton horsepower underneath the hood right there. Going to take on Troy Leitner out of Liberty, South Carolina, in the Shake and Bacon, the 1951 Henry J. Wayne Sless horsepower underneath the hood there for Troy Leitner in the shake and bake. And something went wrong. He left before the tree even activated. Troy Leitner, I guess maybe the air gap or something, he just pulled right through the light before it even got started. And Kenneth Phillips will take it easy as he gets the win right here by virtue of the red light. See those two carburetors sticking up under the hood right there. Good shot of that. Alan Gaulden in the frequent flyer going to take on Ben Christopher right here in the Happy Days. Ben Christopher been struggling with an erratic handling race car pretty much all year. And those gremlins bit him in qualifying in both sessions as well. So he gets the number one qualifier here in Alan Gaulden as Ben Christopher, as we said before, been battling that car. Tons of horsepower underneath the hood of that race car. Just that short, erratic wheelbase. And there you see wheels up again. Oh, Ben Christopher hard into the guardrail to the left side of the racetrack. And that's all the swamp monster of Alan Gaulden needs. There you see him into the fence. He's able to get it off there and avoid any further damage. Hate to see that for Ben. Another great shot by Caleb Sewell right there of both race cars. And Ben Christopher going to bow out here in round number one. Justin Moses out of Brazelton, Georgia, going to take on Rob Walden. Rob Walden driving the 33 Willys that he calls the Strychnine. 409 cubic inches of Lamar Walden automotive horsepower underneath the hood. And if it sounds familiar, a 409 in the name Walden, that is a very potent combination, as his dad campaigned the same exact car through the Gasser Wars of the 60s with a 409 in it. There you see Jeannie Moses moving Justin Moses back into his beams. We're glad to see them back out here. Justin's been working on a new motor combination and missed several races this year, and I know he's back ready and anxious to make a good pass right here in round number one. So both drivers hungry. And Justin Moses a little too hungry as that foot moves off the clutch too early and turns on the red light. And Rob Walden in that 33 Willys. And there you see a great shot of those wheels up on that Willys. We'll move on to the next round. Todd Oden in that double down 57 wagon. He's going to get Gary Klein right here in that 41 Willys that he calls the Tasmanian Devil. 427 cubic inches of Gene Fulton big block horsepower underneath the hood there for Gary Klein, hailing out of North Tazewell, Virginia. There's that double down out of the MTO Motors camp. Gary Klein first off the line right there. And Gary Klein powers through the victory right here in A-Gas round number one, putting Todd Oden uncharacteristically on the trailer. That's something you don't see a lot right there, as Gary Klein takes the win here in round number one. As we head into the second round, we'd like to thank our wonderful sponsors. SEGA round number two right here. Leslie Horn in the stud muffin taking on Alfred Adams out of Clover, South Carolina. Leslie Horn going to be in that left lane. Good smoky burnout right there for the Clover, South Carolina native Alfred Adams. And there you see the stud muffin right there out of Boiling Springs, South Carolina. Robbins Repairables out of Mooresville, North Carolina. One of the new sponsors on board for this year for Leslie Horn. Alfred Adams trying to play a few games on the line right there, and it bites him as he goes red. And there's that big 292 cubic inches screaming down that 8th mile and propelling Leslie Horn into round number 3 here in SEGA competition here at Mooresville today. There you see a good shot of our honorary starter, Slim Harris, behind the starter's box. Todd Oden's going to take on Larry Noel right here. Interesting matchup. Noel's our 2018 SEGA World Champ, and Todd Oden is our 2017 SEGA World Champ. So battle of the world champs are right here, as you see Larry Noel in the right lane and Todd Oden in the left. Todd in that big 58 Delray, the double X, and Larry Noel, the 18 champ, goes red and turns the win right over to Todd Oden. So Todd Oden wins the Battle of Champions right there in the Southeast Gasser competition. As Larry Noel turns on the red light. Look at those wheels off the ground on that big 58 Delray. Next pair down the track, Billy Edwards, the number 1 qualifier, going to take on Jimmy Huff in the Hoopty wagon. There's the Thunder Road Chevy, the number 1 qualifier here today. Going to take on that 64 Ford Falcon wagon, backed up by Jeannie Moses right there. Elizabeth Noel helping Billy Edwards get back in his tracks. Big launch right there. You see Billy Edwards in that 55, and it just leaps out front. Too much horsepower right there as he moves on to round number 3 as he continues his quest to chase down Leslie Horn for that points championship. Tim Hall in the Scalded Dog going to take on Josh Pruitt, the Youngblood, in another heavyweight matchup here in C-Gas. Couple of small cubic inch motors in these cars right here. Cars been really built for lightweight and small cubic inches right here. 2 good drivers, Tim Hall, the school teacher out of Abbeville, South Carolina, and Josh Pruitt, the 21-year-old out of Inman, South Carolina. 2017 Rookie of the Year was Josh. Great lead by both drivers. Looks like Tim Hall might be pulling away just a little bit on that top end. And there you see Tim Hall taking the win from the tower camera. Another wheels up. That Scalded Dog just leaves the line beautifully with those wheels in the air. Moving into B-Gas round number 2 right here, TJ York going to take on his good buddy, Jeff Madden, in the misleading 2. Madden now the owner of that 56 Chevy. So a 55 Chevy for the Greenhorn Hillbilly of TJ York and the 56 for Jeff Madden out of Charleston, South Carolina. Madden again coming back from that terrible wreck he had out in Lyons, Indiana. And Jeff Madden a little too eager that time, and he turns on the red light right there as he was trying to knock off TJ York as these guys battle in the top 5 of points right now in B-Gas. Ernie Smith and Paula's Nightmare going to be taking on Tim Bailey, the Alley Cat 2. Bailey, our current points leader. There you see his son Jarrett bringing him through the water. Spartanburg, South Carolina is where Ernie Smith calls home. Southern Pines, North Carolina for Tim Bailey. Tim Timmerman bringing him up to the beams right there, getting him ready to go. Ernie Smith choosing to go in by himself. There you see a bad banana shirt right there on Tim Timmerman. Love to see Rusty Sampson get back out here with us. But Tim Bailey just too much that Fox Performance motor underneath the hood as he propels himself to the 3rd round here and continues racking up round after round in his chase for another world championship. Jerry Birch, the number 1 qualifier here in the Freebird out of Roebuck, South Carolina, going to take on Michael Walters in Papa's Wild Willis, that beautiful red Willis out of Rayford, North Carolina. All right, these guys getting ready on the line right there with those Hoosiers good and burnt and sticky and ready to go. Let's see who it's going to be. Michael Walters makes a hard left move, and that's going to be all that Jerry Birch needs as he powers himself on to victory. Just the smallest of mistakes right there by Michael Walters, and that car going left. That Napa finish line camera right there shows you the tail of the tape. And Jerry Birch and his brother Joey will move on into round number 3. Mike Blackwell in the Smoking Sam going to take on James Beard in the Obsolete 2. Battle of the Chevy 2s right here. Mike Blackwell, the number 2 qualifier today. And there you see the Ripley, Tennessee runner, James Beard, in the left lane. James Beard waiting patiently for Mike Blackwell to get staged up right here. As you see Elizabeth Noel helping him get to the beams and get ready to go. Scenic tool and stamping on the side there for the Smoking Sam. Good shot right here. James Beard knew he had to get something on the tree right there, and he tried to leave a little too soon, but Mike Blackwell runs him down and passes him on the big end and moves on now. Mike Blackwell into round number 3 in that good running Smoking Sam car. Moving right into A-Gas, round number 2, Kenneth Phillips, the Silver Streak 2, going to take on Rob Walden in that Strychnine. I just love that 33 Willis right there. It's just a classic look and got a huge, that thing's full of motor. If you get a chance to come out to a Southeast Gasser event, go check out that Strychnine car. I'm telling you, it is wall to wall with 409 cubic inches of big blocks sitting in there. The Strychnine out of Atlanta, Georgia. Again, another red light right there as Rob Walden knew he was up against a lot of performance in that Gene Fulton car, or Gene Fulton horsepower underneath the hood of Kenneth Phillips' car, as he left a little too soon and the big red eye caught him, and Kenneth Phillips moves on. Todd Blackwell in the Slingshot going to take on Barry Lynn in the Little Red Wagon. Both these cars have Scott Duggan's Par race engines under the hood. Both drivers have had a great year this year. Barry Lynn still has not visited Victory Lane yet, but he has made more rounds this year than he has made in the past. Got to think that's a product of that Par racing engine. Oh, man, there you see the wheels up for Todd Blackwell in first and second gear. Looks like something happened as he made that 2-3 shift. And Todd Blackwell is going to lose right here and go be put on the trailer by Barry Lynn. Dean Jonas in the Agent Orange going to take on Gary Klein, the Tasmanian Devil. Gary Klein in that 41 Willis, 70 years old, former drag racer from years back, and just said he saw the Southeast Gassers and has loved it and has been out here for many years campaigning that beautiful 41 Willis. Got him some Gene Fulton horsepower underneath the hood, that big block 427. Boy, Dean Jonas shot out of a cannon right there in that left lane. Something happening to Gary Klein down track, but look at the wheels up start right there for Dean Jonas in that Agent Orange 66 Chevy 2. Alan Gaulden, the frequent flyer, our number 1 qualifier, going to take on Steve Davis out of Monroe, North Carolina in that Spinny 2 car. And it's something to see Steve Davis do a burnout. He gets those hides really hot as you see his wife bringing him back into his tracks, getting him ready to go. Alan Gaulden's wife bringing him back as well. Gaulden, a big performance out of that car he's had this year. Steve Davis trying all he can do, but look at that top end charge right there of the frequent flyer. And Alan Gaulden gets it by almost 2 car lengths over Steve Davis. As we head into semifinal action, here's a look at our great sponsor for today's race. All right, semifinal action right here. The Superstock division, Mark Hackett in that Mercury Comet Caliente going to take on Dale Morton in the Lucille, the 57 Ford. And there you see the 57 Ford trying to get a little head start with that big power that he was facing in that Mercury. And that Mercury of Mark Hackett and his wife Rhonda just too much for Dale Morton right there. Battle of the Peffleys right here. We're beginning to see this every race. Dallas Peffley, the father, in that Grumpy B in the left lane. And Robert in the right lane in the 4-speed Stampede. And that 65 Belvedere is going to take out the 67 right here. And Robert Peffley moves right along to the finals here in Superstock to take on Mark Hackett.
Robert, buddy, I ain't got to talk to you in like 3 weeks, but you know, the last time I talked to you, you was a champion up in Indiana. Now you've traipsed off down here to North Carolina. You just put your dad on the trailer, the same guy you outrun the last time in Indiana in the finals, and you got one Mark Hackett that's quite happy with the performance of his car today.
Yeah, Mark's running strong today. He tried to play some games early on, and we's on to him. That's all right. You got a target on your back when you're number one. People like to play games. I'm all for it, so bring it. Don't sing it.
Next group of semifinals right here, Seagas, Leslie Horn, the stud muffin, our current points leader, is going to take on Todd Oden in that double X. Here's a great in-car from Todd Oden. Let you see his process as he goes through a burnout. Todd with that big old original steering wheel in that 58 Delray just adds to the lore as you see the instrument panel and everything that he has in that 58 Delray hailing out of Birmingham, Alabama. We'll let you ride down the track with him and listen to him work the gears. Great split shot right here. What a race, folks, and what a win for Todd Oden.
Todd Oden, this is a phrase that I really never thought I would find myself saying to you, but I've seen sicker dogs get well, but not quite this well. You just put a killer on the trailer.
That was a day's work, and that was a good run. That thing hooked up and hammered down.
No doubt, from my perspective down here, it was a good run.
That's as good as this car's been moving in a long time. That'll make a fat boy smile.
And seeing that loss by the stud muffin gives Billy Edwards a chance here to make up that 5 points that he trails behind. There he's going to take on Tim Hall, and looks like, oh man, it looks like he has turned on the red light as that clutch got a little too heavy to hold back, and it pulled the Thunder Roads right through there. So the number one qualifier, red lights right here to the scalded dog, Tim Hall, who's going to move into the finals here today. Great shot right there of leaving. B-Gas semifinals, Tim Bailey, the current points leader, and Mike Blackwell in the Smoking Sam right here. Going to be a tough one for that Fox Performance Bodies, Tim Hall. And Tim Hall turns on the red light, and Mike Blackwell still drives around him. Look at that.
Mike Blackwell, congratulations, man. That was a solid win right there against the standing points leader, Tim Bailey, who is no pushover from any stretch of the imagination. Good job, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I got some good advice from some friends today.
Well, I hope that advice serves you all year long.
Yeah, I think it will.
Next pair in B-Gas, Jerry Birch, the number one qualifier today in the Freebird, going to take on TJ York in the Greenhorn Hillbilly.
Take on Mike Blackwell in the final.
Good lead by both drivers right there. Looks like the Freebird of Jerry Birch is stretching it out, and he'll move on to take on Mike Blackwell in the finals right here today at Mooresville Dragway in B-Gas. There you see ABC Coatings on the side right there helping the Freebird get up and down the road. A-Gas, Kenneth Phillips in the Silver Streak 2 going to take on Dean Jonas in the Agent Orange out of Mount Holly, North Carolina. Good lead by both drivers. This is a drag race here, folks. Oh, by the narrowest of margins, Kenneth Phillips takes the W right there, you see. Dean Jonas really making some improvements in that car as he is giving him all he wants. But Kenneth Phillips in the Silver Streak 2 will move on to the finals here today in A-Gas. Next pair, Alan Gaulden, the man who has been on a streak right here, quote unquote, in the frequent flyer. He's going to take on Barry Lynn out of Greer, South Carolina in that little red wagon. a couple of par racing engines right here on the line, making it to the semifinals. And look at that margin of victory right there as the frequent flyer takes the win here today.
Alan, buddy, this old car just keeps doing its job. Apparently you're doing yours, but I think that Barry heard something about if they could take you out, no matter how they get the money. He took out a cone trying to get to you.
Oh yeah, they're all taking shots at me. That don't matter. We came here to kick butt with this power engine, and it's kicking butt. And we got the silver Corvette again in the final. But you know, we'll show them what time it is.
So as far as for him taking out a cone, what you're saying is they've got to be beside you before they can even run into you.
All these guys are taking shots at us, but you know, the swamp monster came out of the swamp, and she'll go down a dirt road right now. So bring it on.
Heading into the finals, here's some more of our great sponsors of today's race here at Mooresville. Superstock finals right here from Mooresville Dragway. Robert Peffley in the 4-speed Stampede, winner of 4 races this year, going to take on Mark Hackett in that Mercury Caliente out of Lebanon, Tennessee, winner of 2 of the races. And as we are here staying at the 7th race of the day, at the 7th race of the year, excuse me. So Mark Hackett, the number 8 qualifier, going to take on the number 2 qualifier right here in Robert Peffley in the left lane in that 65 Plymouth Belvedere wagon. Good lead by both drivers, hooking those big Hoosier tires up. There's a good drone shot right there as you see that Comet Caliente take the win, and Mark Hackett pulls up even closer to Robert Peffley in this points battle as he takes his 3rd win of the year right here.
Mark Hackett, my friend, I know this is the interview that you have been waiting on for quite some time, just breaking the streak of Robert Peffley in his 4-in-a-row wins.
It is. He's been hard on me. He's punched me in the nose 4 races in a row. I wasn't going to take it no more. I guess tonight that Mopar direct connection just come unplugged, buddy.
So you saying the terminal's got a little corroded on that direct connection?
A little corroded on that direct connection. That's right. That's right. Whew.
Well, like I said, I know this is the interview you've been waiting on. Good job, Mark. You know, we know that you and the Forge got it. It just sometimes it has to be drug out.
That's exactly right, Mitch. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Mark Hackett, great win today. You're here getting win number 3 on the year. That was a hard-fought win. I know you tried to play a little game in the beginning, trying to play a little gamesmanship, but it come back to help you.
It did. We've got our face punched in the past 4 races by the Mopars, and I was just sick of it. We've worked on the car, and for those 4 races, we were doing stuff, and it just wouldn't respond. And finally, it just kind of all came together, you know, and gelled, and the car got faster, and that helped us tonight. And we tried to take a big lick early qualifying and get some points back, you know, that we've lost, and it didn't quite work out. But we gained some tonight, so we're glad for that.
Well, and Mark, you're always one of the more quiet guys, a gentleman in the pits, and everybody was like, Mark's doing that on purpose. And I said, no, not Mark. He wouldn't be doing that on purpose. But, hey, it's a little bit of gamesmanship. That's drag racing. But, hey, 3 wins on the year. You're catching up. Hey, got another one coming up. You got a chance to get 4.
Absolutely, and we're going to show up, and that's what we're going for, is to win that race and gain points back. So it's not over. You know, he had a good run there. It's time for us to have that run. So we'll see him in Virginia.
Well, great run tonight by a beautiful race car. Congratulations again. Mark Hackett, your winner here tonight at Mooresville.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Seagas finals right here. Tim Hall, the scalded dog, going to take on Todd Oden in the Double X. A battle of the big car, the 58 Delray, versus the little car, that little Rambler out of Abbeville, South Carolina, with the small cubic inches under the hood. Tim Hall going to be in the left lane right here, and Birmingham, Alabama runner Todd Oden going to be in the right lane. There you see Mr. Lester Oden right alongside the door of his son Todd as he prepares to burn out right here in the right lane. George Hall waiting on his son Tim right up there. So a little father-son battle on both of these teams, as both teams a good father-son combination. There you see George Hall waiting on his son Tim, letting him know where he needs to be as well. Tim Hall trying to make sure he gets perfectly straight here for this final matchup right here against the 2017 champ in that Double X. There you see the headlights on that 58 Delray as the Stars or the Southeast Gassers come out at night. And here we are in the finals with a couple of big stars in C-Gas. A little bit of a whole shot advantage for Todd Oden, but something happens, and Tim Hall streaks away in that Scalded Dog and takes win number 2 on the year here in C-Gas. There you see congratulations going to his dad, George. Look at the wheels up back there by Tim Hall and the determination on his face.
Tim Hall, it's been a while, my friend, that I got to have this talk with you in the winner's circle in the Scalded Dog. Good job. You just defeated Todd Oden, past world champion, and you done it in an amazing fashion. They said you had it from start to finish. Good job for you and your father in this race in Scalded Dog round.
Thank you very much. You know how it is. You win one, it might be lucky. You win two, maybe it ain't a fluke, you know. So,
hey, take them however you can get them. All I know is Tim Hall, you and your dad and the Scalded Dog Rambler, y'all took that one from the starting line to the finish line. Good job. They'll be waiting to see you in the winner's circle, my friend.
Feels great.
Tim Hall, what a great day for this Scalded Dog. I'm telling you, it ran like a Scalded Dog, especially in that semifinal and final.
Right, it was doing pretty good. We sneaking up on it, learning the tune a little better, getting it to hook a little better, you know, and all the, you know, Daddy and Tony and all them helping me with it. We just having a ball. We love it. We enjoy this Southeast Gasser racing more than anything we've ever done. So.
Well, and it shows in the performance of this race car, the time and the hours that y'all putting into it at the shop and coming out here with the small cubic inches, the light car, and really knocking down some of these big boys.
Yeah, sometimes it don't hurt to get brakes too. You know, we got some brakes today, and you know, sometimes that's what it takes. And real pleased. Like I say, win ones, you might say is luck. Start winning multiples, it ain't an accident no more. Sooner or later, you're doing something right. So.
Well, you've been to already a couple of finals. You've won 2 races and been to a couple of more finals. So you got to know that you're putting a big hold on this C-Gas.
I'm trying hard. I got 2 races to make up. I'm trying my best to make them up. So, you know.
Well, nobody's going to blame you because we know that makeup that you're talking about is because of your military commitments and your career that you have in the military. But, buddy, we're awfully proud of you. It was a great run today for you and your dad and your brother and the whole family. We're going to get them in here. Your winner today here at Mooresville Dragway in C-Gas, Tim Hall.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
B-Gas finals right here. That's going to be Mike Blackwell in the left lane, the number 2 qualifier versus the number 1 qualifier here today at Mooresville, and that is the Freebird of Jerry Birch. A couple of Chevy 2s with par horsepower underneath the hood. Birch Engineering out of Roebuck, South Carolina, helping on side there on the Freebird. Scenic Tooling Stamping and Superior Paint and Body helping the Smoking Sam pay the bills and get up and down the road for this car in the left lane. Good leave right there. There's an advantage by Mike Blackwell right there on the line. Mike Blackwell stretches it out and takes the win. Mike Blackwell gets his first ever win here today. There you see a great leave right there by Mike Blackwell, and you can almost see it on his faces. He takes it to victory.
Mike Blackwell, it is an honor, brother, to finally call you a winner. B-Gas, good job, my friend. I understand you took that one on a whole shot, so talk about doing your job today, my friend.
Done it good, yeah. Had good advice.
That's irrelevant to the situation. Whether it's good advice or not, you applied it well. So the point is, you know, you've sat back and you've watched old son Todd win a number of races. Now you can set one of your trophies right beside of his. I'm going to tell Quayne them make sure yours is just an inch taller than any of Todd.
Oh, yeah. And a little bit different.
They'll be waiting on you in the winner's circle. Good job again, Mike. It's been a long time coming. Congratulations.
Yeah, it has been. Thank you.
Mike Blackwell, first win in Southeast Gasser competition, and this is a sweet one. I know it's been a long time coming.
It has been. It really has been, yeah. And I've been inventing ways to mess up, so.
No more red lights for you. You were like a rocket out of that left lane.
It was pretty good, yeah. I had a couple of pretty good lights there. It was really good, exciting. So
I figured you was gonna come down here like a Yosemite Sam with both barrels blazing and shooting and raising yourself up. I know you've been walking on cloud nine since this win.
That's right, exactly right. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I just thank the good Lord for giving us everything He's given us to be able to do this and enjoy ourselves. And it has been in the past. It's been Todd standing here. We've got all these trophies. Now I got one to set beside his.
That's exactly right. And you're going to have many more the way you've been running. This power engine underneath there really been doing well.
Scott's been good to us, yeah. He's done some good work for us, yeah. We appreciate him. I want to thank him too.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate the Blackwell family.
You,
and Southeast Gassers love you. Congratulations on your first win here in B-Gas at Mooresville Dragway.
Thank you, Dave. Thank everybody.
That's Mike Blackwell. All right, our A-Gas finals right here. Alan Gaulden in the frequent flyer and Kenneth Phillips in the silver streak. How many times have we seen this? It is an exciting matchup as these guys trade big-time blows. You know, the frequent flyer may have punched him a couple of times, but the silver streak gets up off the ground and he punches back. So this is a great battle. The big block of Scott Duggan's Par race engines in the left lane in the frequent flyer. The small block Gene Fulton in that 58 Corvette of Kenneth Phillips in the right. And I'm telling you, folks, we had a match race between these guys, best 2 out of 3. And Alan Gaulden was the winner of that one. But Kenneth Phillips, in the round that he won here in these match races this weekend, was for $500. He laid an absolute tree job on him. And I think that's something that he's going to have to try to do right here as that horsepower in that frequent flyer really comes on strong on the top end. Let's see, as Kenneth Phillips getting ready to go. And there you see Elizabeth Noel walking back after Kenneth is just going to wait right there patiently for that 61 Corvette driven by Gaulden to get in there. The Land O'Lakes, Florida driver brings it in stages second. Let's see if there's any cat and mouse here on the line with these two, as they know and have raced each other many times. Phillips goes in first. There's the lead. Gaulden gets a little sideways right there. Is that going to be enough? Kenneth Phillips trying his best, and Kenneth Phillips takes the win here today. Kenneth Phillips in the silver streak 2 breaks the string of Gaulden's dominance here in A-Gas and takes the win here today at Mooresville Dragway. And what a celebratory time he's going to have.
Kenneth Phillips, it has been a long time coming, my friend, that I get to announce you the winner of an A-Gas category. We all know you're capable. Just there's been a lot of things working against you, but man, is this one extra sweet. You just took out the nemesis of the season. You collected on the bounty that's been put on him. This is a great day for Kenneth Phillips.
It is a great day. I've had the best day today that I've had, I guess, since I've been racing. And that $500, I get half of it back. So
you put half of it up, didn't you?
So this thing has done good today. We have done good. Went a couple rounds thinking that I'd lost, and I ended up winning, so it's been all over the place today.
So it's safe to say that God is good all the time.
God is good all the time. You got that right.
Well, again, congratulations, Kenneth, buddy. You know, you've always got a smile on your face, win, lose, or draw. It's just a little bigger when you win.
Exactly.
They'll be waiting on you in the winner's circle. Enjoy it.
Congratulations there, buddy.
Thank you.
Feels good to put this thing back in victory lane, don't it?
Boy, it sure does feel good. We ain't been in victory lane in all year. We ain't done nothing all year, so it does feel good to be back.
Well, the driver was definitely doing his job on the tree today, and that was a big part of it as well.
It was. I done good about every pass on lights and leaving the line, so that plays a big factor in it.
And having that good horsepower underneath the hood, and this car was handling on home mean today.
It was. It was handling good. Everything just worked together good today, and it just went down the track every time.
Well, got any sponsors you want to thank?
I just want to thank Billy Edwards for his help and Carburetor Bob for his help that he helped me. And my backup girl, I want to thank her for backing me up, getting me lined up, we'd go.
All right, that's today's winner here in A-Gas, Mr. Kenneth Phillips, the Silver Streak 2. Congratulations.
David, to close out today is like, departing from an old friend. This has been one of the most important races, most exciting races, most upsetting races, I think, that I have seen out of the Southeast Gassers in a long time, and I know your take on it is just as great, standing up there in the tower reporting on it all day long.
I was almost having to control my volume because I was so excited. You're talking about old friends. Slim being our starter, our Grand Marshal, this racetrack, you've got hundreds of passes on it, but it had teeth today. The drivers loved it, and you're exactly right. The racing was incredible and some great upsets today.
Well, hats off to Tim Hall. He beats the great Todd Oden. Todd Oden has not had the greatest of seasons, but man, did he come back on strong today, and then Tim Hall takes him out in the finals. And then, just go straight on into A-Gas. What else is there to say for today? Because now you've got Kenneth Phillips and the Swamp Monster, Alan Gaulden, and that whole entire team. The big bounty that was put up. Alan was saying all day today about this X on his back. I was telling him, wear it with pride. And I'd be doggone if Kenneth Phillips, Mr. Smiley himself, did not end the streak.
He did not. You're exactly right. It was a wonderful day with that match race situation, and Kenneth Phillips did his job all day long. He nailed the tree when he had to, and the big horsepower and the big block, the frequent flyer was trying to come back around him, but it's just too much. And B-Gas. Holy cow, B-Gas finally, Mike Blackwell, after all the dominance that Todd had in B-Gas last year, Mike Blackwell breaks through with his first ever win.
I think it's safe to say that the Blackwell family owns the B-Gas category. Maybe that B stands for Blackwell as opposed to B-Gas. But anyway, yes, congratulations to Mike, as I told him, long time coming. Same as you did in the winner's circle. You and I was both thinking the same things, and he's such a humble man. I was just so happy to see that for him.
It was, and you almost just saw him want to go, I finally done it, because he's had a lot of pressure on him. He's always has had the performance, as you said, the B for Blackwell, B for Birch. Those two names right there have really dominated that one. You're exactly right.
Yeah,
and Sam got it done today.
There's a lot of duking it out between those guys, and then Superstock, Mark Hackett, what a performance he put on the board today. Going into the finals, Robert Peffley's telling me Mitch ain't got nothing for him. The Ford is just running. Mark was joking with me on the top end down there, that direct connection come unconnected. They had the terminals had gotten corroded.
Yeah, and broke a streak there. That Peffley had 4 in a row. Mark won the first 2 races of the year, and then Peffley 4 in a row, and now Hackett back with another one. So 4 versus 3 as we go and get ready to go to Radford, Virginia on the 31st.
Well, as we said, one of the most crucial, pivotal races that we've seen from Southeast Gassers in a long time. But, unfortunately, it's time to close it out, David. And, brother, if you'll take us out of here in a good prayer to our Father above, then we'll just close it off and we'll go to the next one.
I'll be honored, Mitch. I really would. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for all the mercies that you've given all our people who traveled here today, for safe travel, for safe racing, for incredible times that with good friends that we got to enjoy here today with like-minded people, Lord. But as always, Lord, we want to make sure that we always lift you up for sending your Son to die on the cross for all of our sins, Lord. And let us be that light that is inside our bodies and inside our hearts as believers in Christ, to shine to this world that we live in, to shine your love and carry out the Great Commission to all the ends of the earth. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Drag racing is the most dramatic test of automotive perfection.